GOL Network, and this is our Lightworker Radio interviews with our professional members in the GOL Network. And I have Kindra from Treasure Valley Rossiter with me. And what we're going to do is Kendra's going to be sharing with you guys all about what she does and what she has to offer to our community. So, yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, GLL community. My name is Kindra, and I'm here representing what I share at Treasure Valley Rossiter as a Rossiter coach.
Yeah, and we got to meet a couple months ago, and then you came on as a new professional member, and we were really excited to have you part of our team. But beyond just the Treasure Valley or the roster work that you do, you have a lot that makes Kendra that you have to offer. But yeah, tell us more about that, like all the things that you know and what got you where you're at today.
Sure, yeah. So, a lot of what I share, a lot of my offerings come from my journey with movement and with plant medicine. I would say that my journey into holistic wellness really started with plant medicine. I grew up in Vermont in the Northeast Kingdom, the Maple Kingdom. So I've always been really connected to the forest. And when I was in high school, one of my first jobs was at this really cool little market where I met some really rad people that really shaped me as an individual. And one of the really big ways that they did that was they introduced me to the Green Mountain Druid community and they introduced me to herbalism. I worked in with a lot of local produce at that time, and I worked really closely with um, just local farmers. Um, and from that, I just started to make my own medicine. I started to talk to more people about plant medicine. I started farming. So I'm a farmer. I do that in the summer in addition to Rossiter. And now I'm in botanical medicine school and I work at the Vervain Collective Apothecary. So that
A lot
continues
of
to be,
people will be familiar with that one too.
yeah,
All our
totally.
communities are connected.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And I'm a yoga teacher, so yoga really brought me into the movement. So now I say my tagline is like farming, fascia, and flow, which really I think speaks to the mind, the body, and the spirit. So these things, yeah, that I practice, they're all connected. It really just kind of, I feel like it embodies like the holistic part, right? Like all of it.
Mhm. Well, not really, for me personally, working 20 years in Western medicine and walking away from that, it has its place, but it's a broken model, where it's very pharmaceutical, pill driven versus looking at the whole body. Sometimes what people need is the right nutritional coaching and getting out of inflammation. Sometimes it is just the breath, remembering how to breathe and move and yeah, being able to recognize that holistically for your clients is huge.
Yeah, definitely. I've been thinking about um, the work that I do with this like analogy recently of a spider on a web. And a spider on its web, it can really tune into the subtleties it has to of like every little vibration for its own vitality and safety. And I feel like the work that I do, what I really aim to encourage people to tune into is themselves and their ability to do that, to tune into their body. And instead of constantly asking why, like, why is my body doing this to me? Or like, why? Like that victim archetype that's so easy to be in, to just be like, hey, like, it's so beautiful that your body is doing this. Yeah, it sucks a lot of the time, but what does your body have to teach you? And how can we shift your narrative and like breathe love into it so that it's more of a, oh wow, my body has so much to teach me.
I'm not really like the words force or not force. So flow versus force.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to, it's like you have a pipe and it's plugged and you just keep pushing it. It's not going to become unplugged. We have to have that gentle flow. And I like how you said that, like ask why. What's the message what's the root, what's the message there? So I love that. And just talking about ease. We were before we got on, we were talking about ease and just what's happening in our world today and different shifts. And so yeah, just like you're probably seeing a lot of people come into the clinic and you have a lot of different types of clients. I mean, I met one, and there's a diversity, but I think collectively we're all kind of moving into this prosperity and abundance and really an ease. But you were mentioning something versus the ease you're noticing too. But yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it's kind of a wild time right now. Like it's always a wild time, but there's a lot of like duality happening right now that I can feel and that I am experiencing in conversation with people where um, we'll start with the fact that it's like that fast track that like we're on the slide to the end of the year, and it starts with Thanksgiving and then it's Christmas and then it's New Year's, and it's cold outside, and there's like we're maybe seeing our families, which for some people is great and for some people it's not. We're eating different food because all of these holidays are happening and because it's cold outside. So there's all of these like outside stressors, right, that are causing tension in our minds and our bodies and our spirits. And that's like, for some people, it's like, oh my God. So there's that. And then there's this really beautiful shift happening in the cosmos that maybe is like a little bit chaotic, right? As above, so below. But
Mhm.
there's so much underneath all of that, um, that can be really abundant and beautiful. And it's just kind of like sifting through all of that madness and just like, okay, observing it with a neutral mind. Like, I'm here. What does this have to teach me? And for me, yeah, in that, and I was speaking to you about this before, I've heard a lot of people be like, it's go time. There's this like energy of abundance, create, create, create. And I'm like having to remind myself to just be, to just know, like feel, yeah, I am feeling a lot of creative energy and a lot of abundance. And I'm sitting with that and trying not to force it, trying to be easeful, ease into it, and encourage others to just allow themselves to be and to trust that whatever is meant for them is going to come in, you know?
Yeah. And I think, no, I not think, I know when we surround ourselves around that like-hearted community, then it does become more of the ease and then like the navigation through all that, because we are in that season right now, the holidays. We are in, it seems like a creative mode. There's so many new and innovative things that are happening. But when we do surround ourselves around that like-hearted, like-minded community, it definitely like it sparks those inspirations, but it also creates an ease too of like, oh, you too, okay, or even having the cheerleader like, yeah, like do that, um but yeah, what kind of experiences are you kind of noticing just as a community and when you're around people versus, because we are going from that Capricorn lone wolf into Aquarius. We've moved into that. So I'm not a huge into astrology, but we have a lot in our GOL community that are, and it's beautiful witnessing it even in the like tech cranial world. I'm
Mm.
watching them. I watched a marketing guy talk about going from transactional to transformational. And he's speaking to other oops, my camera. Come back, where am I? There I am. Going from, it's changing so weird. Um, Moving into that like versus the funnel, like the into like a cyclical, but it is about community. And these are more cranial type of logical thought process going, but I love that transactional to transformational, which is so beautiful. But yeah, are you starting to see some of that just in your community too?
I really am. Yeah. Um, I can, yeah. Um, Trying to think of like specifics. I feel like you said transactional versus what was it?
Transformational, moving
Transformation.
into more versus like the relationships that we're having with clients or
Mhm.
community or who you're
Yeah,
working with or interacting around. It's going from a transactional relationship to a transformational relationship.
yeah. I definitely am seeing and feeling that in the sense that a lot of interactions I've had recently, it's like people are that I've interacted with are maybe more aware, maybe more feeling the energetic exchange. And it's not just this. It's not just like for lack of a better term, like a shallow or like surface level conversation. More often than not, it's like, hey, I might be just like weighing out some herbs for you and giving them to you. But like, it's not just that recently. It's a lot more of like, hi, how are you? And
Mhm.
did you like, how are you sleeping right now? And then it goes from, how are you sleeping to, well, I'm not really sleeping. I've heard that from a lot of people. And then like, and, and then this whole conversation of what else, like, we're both experiencing and feeling. And yeah, I've had a lot of, um, I've felt recently that a lot of folks are tuning into the same channel, for lack of better word. Um,
I love
and
that.
it's really cool. Yeah, it's beautiful. Um,
Well,
and when we tune into the same channel, it does become more, when we see that we're tuning into the same channel, especially, it becomes more transformational.
well, and it's too like with all the tools in your toolbox, right? You have this wisdom, and I wonder too, are those people coming to you and then you're able to guide them in that message because you're already tuned into that same channel? Um,
Yeah.
I would be really curious, and I think that's, all your skill sets that you've had along the way, you're coming in under, the business of Treasure Valley Rossiter, but you're also the farmer and the breath and the yoga and, working at Ravine, like it's all of those pieces that, from my perspective, that you're able to offer such, great services for the community. So yeah, I think that's beautiful. I really do think that's beautiful. Um, for last question for you is when I say what brings you joy in your business, what comes to mind?
Um, Man, well, I was just listening like to your gratitudes, and I was just like feeling, um my cup is so filled by all of the things that I do. And sometimes people are like, "Oh my God, like, do you ever sleep?"
Oh, we Kindra glitched a little bit. Let's see if she comes back on. Oh,
Can you hear
we're back.
me? Yeah.
We're back.
Okay. Um, I will just say, so you were asking me what brings me joy. Um, And more broadly, I just feel like all of these things that I do, the botanical medicine work, the farming, the body work, the energy work, it all fills my cup in like all of these different beautiful ways and brings me so much joy so that I can in return fill other people's cups. So it just is this incredible dance, really. What brings me joy is like the text message that I received this morning from a client that's like, my client said, today is a really good day. Like, thank you so much for your knowledge and like your offerings. And that I'm just like, wow, you did it. Like, we did it. That brings me joy. Yeah.
And it's a cycle, right? It's that cyclical exchange and it's powerful. You created such a transformation in them, but that it loops back around to you, right? That prosperity back because it feels good, like as a giver and to help people through that healing process. So yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. So how can people connect with you? We have you on our provider directory on the golnetwork.com, but how else can people connect with you?
Yeah. Um, Honestly, I use Instagram all the time. And my Instagram has my link tree in my bio where you can find like all of the things that I offer. And my Instagram handle is easy. It's just my name. It's Ki period Nd period Ra. Kindra.
I love it. That's easy. Well, I'll put that in the across the screen. So we'll share that. Yeah. Thank you so much. We are so grateful and honored to have you part of our provider network. You are a huge asset to our community, in our GOL community and beyond. So thank you for being part of this growth and this mission to share holistic practices and healing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super honored to be a part of the community and continue to just learn and grow with you all.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you on the next interview. Be sure to go to www.thegolnetwork.com and check out all of our providers there, including Kindra with Treasure Valley Roster. All right, much love. Bye bye.